All people are vehicles of one God, just like our cells are part or workers of our body, so no one cell can claim to be better than others. Their purpose of life is to preserve body's integrity while it is alive. Just like that, we are part of the body of God, so you never know about the people you may think were inferior to you can be proven superior in character. If the religious preaching make you prejudiced and discriminatory, understanding differences between religion and spirituality is your antidote. Learning the importance of spirituality over religions to be humble is important because we have had and still have huge problems with religious extreme. You can still follow the same religion you were born in, but by removing the politics of sense of belonging to your groups, you will find yourself in a spiritual zone, because most religions talk about spirituality but could not keep their politics out of their spiritual system. That makes their spiritual systems tainted with their belonging group's politics. A politically tainted spiritual system is tainted regardless, so no matter how much you respect your religion, you should not be killing others over your religions. Remember, it is not because of spiritual side of it, it is because of politics. In dead of the night, if you start to peel off all your given identities one at a time, you will end up finding yourself. You will discover that you are made of the same thing what everyone else is made of. All our differences stem from our politically tainted education, and all politics is based on the need to secure and strengthen belonging group. That clearly means insecurity, lack of trust, and personal belief system is the cause. Regardless of what you feel or what someone says, you just have to look at your personal life with logical facts. Somehow you came to life from 1 in 400 million odds, you grew from the cell not possible to be seen with naked eye. Just like that, out of thin air you appear and your heart started to beat. That thin air provided you oxygen so you can help your 10 trillion cells and 100 trillion bacteria to keep you functioning and live. If you still think it is all happening by your will and intention, wash your face and wake up to reality. Your next reality is that you know you are going to get old and eventually die. This knowledge of mortality should actually make you appreciate your living years with humbleness, but somehow you just want to control and secure even your mortality. If you see life as a mountain, you start to climb the mountain of life to secure without enjoying the scenery and journey, just to fall off the mountain. Remember, no matter how high you climb, your security still is not guaranteed, so regardless of your given knowledge, your fact of mortality would not change. Genghis Khan eats silver to secure himself just to die blue. Our very actions to preserve ourselves cause the side effects to rob us of health. Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health are deeply connected to our soul. How you think can even play a role in our expiration date. Health is crucial for a mortal life to accumulate real rewards of reciprocation and, yes, their happiness and contentment. Unfortunately, our both extremes are wrong for us as a mortal being, because our religions say just live in a sacrifice mode and put all your eggs in the basket of life after death. Be greedy for heaven and fear hell. Other side can't even comprehend the purpose of our mortal life. Reciprocation is only understood by having a spiritual belief system. If you can't even figure that out and climb, hoard and spend every moment of your mortal life to secure yourself just to die with the stress to leaving everything behind. It is a choice regardless whichever way you cut it. I would rather enjoy my visit while do my duties instead of claiming I know what life is all about, whether it is in living years or after. There is heaven, hell, God and devil out there or not. To me it is all about this life with me as an atom of autonomy sitting within. Doing the justice to all, including myself, is the game for me. If you choose to live differently than me, it is your prerogative, but if you try to enforce your way of living in my throat, I am going to speak against it. Since we are still evolving, we need to leave room to learn new things instead of being stuck in thousands of years old systems. Remember, we are not a finished product yet, so no human knowledge should be subjected to be locked in as the ultimate. There is always room for amendments and changes according to the changing times. Our medical doctors can give you medication to save you from being sick, yet some die from the side effects, just like Genghis Khan did, who consumed silver and tried to live forever. Sure, drugs are our big guns to survive, but these days we have trend to use drugs indefinitely. Interestingly, we do gain what we seek, but our mortal nature says stay focused on the quality because there is no way around it. If we are consumed with fear and related control, we will end up in a zone where constant stress will rob our health. If our health goes, we lose happiness as well. So without health and happiness, there is nothing to measure your success of mortal life. It does not matter how high you climb on the mountain of life. It may impress others, but if you are not happy or healthy personally, it does not mean anything to you. People who sacrifice most important things like happiness and contentment for climbing higher on the mountain of life, they end up losing hope and optimism as well, so they become progressively fearful as they age. Fearful, out of control and stressed individual usually seeks security in people of the belonging groups. Yet interestingly, most social crimes are committed by the people against the people who belong to same group. Even our religions could not clean our societies or belonging groups of social crimes. Instead, they added to our problems by giving us original sins, yes, prejudice and discrimination. Look around and see for yourself. Regardless of harsh punishments, religions are not guaranteed to give you crime-free societies, but they are for sure giving you original sins. How do you mend and fix the problem? Just by political truces and ceasefires, but no efforts to eradicate original sins. Peace can only happen at individual level. If the individual wants healing, they have to start with themselves. Sometimes making a compromise can feel like betraying the loved ones, but there is always a price to pay for our evolution. Our individual evolution is the key to our internal and external peace. If our education system works against the evolution, we should start to get with time. Today, the tide is rising with the help of internet. Humanity and human rights are a new era of civilization. New global village-related equal human rights should replace extreme nationalism, and spirituality should replace all extreme of political religions. Sure, we still have respect for religions, they even have a tax-free status, but that respect should be as a spiritually fulfilling systems exclusively. They should not be respected if they start to play games with the politics of sense of belonging. If you are and are looking to fight the wars, you should pick the causes, and there are plenty to choose from. To begin with, equal human rights is one of the most spiritual and important cause for humanity because it works against original sins. Hunger, poverty and universal health care for the humanity as a whole can be others, because as human beings we are not like other creatures. Our dog-eat-dog philosophy is like living for ourselves exclusively is our animal trait from bush and cave times. Our spiritual nature compels us to live not exclusively as a creature but as a spiritual or godly entity, so living physically exclusively is not a full or spiritually fulfilling life for us. Commonly it is preached by the religions to live as a good and helpful being, yet they somehow favor conservative political platforms and end up against spiritual values preached and practiced by the democratic political parties. As we evolve, we need to grow our knowledge in all areas of our existence without any bias. If a political party you belong to is in favor of dog-eat-dog philosophy, it is your individual responsibility to live your personal life with your spiritual values. If your personal principles are clashing with political parties, evolve spiritually and choose whichever is closer to spiritual values, because they will be forced to evolve with time as well. Regardless of our religious differences, humanity is forging ahead with spiritual values. Just look at the equal human rights whole humanity is going for them. Sure, we still have our needs of belonging to our groups, but new era is calling for changes in the old ways of dealing with our problems. Regardless of its imperfections, United Nations is still around because it calls for equal human rights. Equal human rights provide us a path to override politics of belonging to a group and brings us in new era or a paradigm to belong to humanity as a whole. Whether you look at it with a scientific point of view or being an extremely religious believer, you are still a human being first. No one, and I mean no one, should ever forget it. Before you judge someone, you have to understand and use your personal sense of justice, which can help you override the politics of your sense of belonging to your belonging group. It is not only about science or religion exclusively, it is about all of you personally acting as a whole being. Ask yourself if you are just a puppet whose strings get pulled by some political or religious leader, or are you a chief executive officer of your life? You can make choices with your God-given personal sense of justice. You can become who uses common sense of the day and era you are born into. Use common decency and related logic and don't do to others what you don't like done to you or your loved ones. Today, spirituality and equal human rights are the things of decency, and they are hard to come by even in peaceful times. During our wars, when love loss is at its cheapest, humanity loses its spiritual essence, and an ordinary man does not shy away from becoming an animal. Even as groups, we endorse those animal actions against the opposing groups, so that is why International Criminal Court is controversial. That is why we are not signing up and are working against it. Our political disputes all over the world can give you a clear picture of prejudice and discrimination. I saw a documentary about a terrorist educating young students. The teacher was saying if you get them young enough, you can conform them, just like Roman Catholic nuns claim to conform native children. Strangely, it is connected with the individual's out-of-control sense of belonging to their belonging groups. My question is if religious people have figured this out a long time ago. Why individually we can't see or understand political strategy of the groups? After all, we call ourselves so-called evolved human beings. We still have people trying to brainwash others for their belonging groups. Even to this day and age, most religions actively preach to join into a path to God offered by them. Humanity just keeps suffering with our divisive politics-related social ills, including war crimes, so working against international court means there are intentions for wars crimes of the future. Any republic would like to become an empire, and any weaker individual would like to belong to stronger entity like an empire, even if they have to sacrifice their personal spiritual values. A spiritually evolved individual who is a CEO of their life as well would want to have equal human rights, effective United Nations and International Criminal Court, so don't let the politics of sense of belonging to your groups rule your personal spiritual values like personal sense of justice. If you feel the need and strongly believe about the domination of your belonging group would bring peace to humanity, you already have been proven wrong. Our races, nations, empires and religions could not unite humanity in thousands of years. How can you believe it will happen by following the same thing? Equal human rights are touching us all individually. That is why they are the antidote of our prejudice and discrimination. If you can remove these two, you will be able to see your own dead dogs.